Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Butler Travel Agency podcast. Today we're going to talk about the advantages versus the disadvantages of staying at a Disney resort. So Disney resorts are very expensive. They can be, at least. Sometimes they are, I would say the minimum you're probably looking at maybe $120 a night. So it definitely is more than if you're used to paying $60 a night or $65 a night. There's a couple options, but I definitely wanted to cover some of the pros, the cons, some more features of the resorts. So the first thing you should know is staying at the resort, you have great transportation to the parks. So sometimes this includes a bus at no extra cost to go to each of the parks, and other times this is a Skyliner where you basically take this cart up in the air and it takes you either to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. So there's different methods to get there. I have stayed at 3 different resorts so far, and I plan to always stay at one every time I visit, just because it's a great experience. These individuals who are running the hotel are very professional. They are very customer service oriented. So that's what makes it a great experience. And you just feel like the magic of what's in the park as far as relations between like someone in a gift shop, how you kind of get that nice welcoming feel. You get that same at the resort. So the first thing, if you're flying into Walt Disney World, if you're flying into Orlando International Airport, what happens is that you can request for Disney to take you to the hotel on one of their buses, and that has to be reserved ahead of time. So basically what happens is that Disney sends you your magic bands, they send you your luggage tags, and once you drop off your luggage tags, if it's a straight flight or connections through the same airline, you don't have to worry about that luggage anymore. It basically will get routed to your hotel, and Disney will know where you're staying, and they have barcodes and things for you to fill out. So basically you get to hop on a plane, get there, and just relax and enjoy. And when you get to your hotel from the Magical Express, which is free and it stops at different hotels, or you can take a minivan, which is more expensive, you can go to the front counter and you can check in, and basically they'll say, we'll text your room number as soon as we have one. If you arrive there early, or if you arrive after check-in, they may already have the room number. But basically you don't have to worry about your luggage. You can just head straight to the parks and have fun. So there's basically, some of these resorts have different areas. They can be large resorts where basically there can be multiple bus stops to go from one place to the other. So you may not be close to your food courts or anything like that. So it basically will take you to where you would like to go. And then there's certain buses that pull up that has Epcot on the side, or Magic Kingdom, or Animal Kingdom. And then you take that and you go to the parks. And so when you go to the parks, you just tap your wristband to it and go through the check-in security features, and then you get to enjoy your time at Disney World. Now, if you go to any of the gift shops, they can also send any of your gifts while you're visiting the parks back to your hotel, and then you can just collect those. So I love that feature just because it's one thing off your mind. You don't have to worry about your luggage. You can just sit back, start your vacation from day one. Now, that's not necessarily the first thing you have to do. But definitely the resorts in itself is very huge. They have swimming pools, they have gift shops, they have places you can eat. You can go visit other resorts, and the pools are huge. Some of those pools are so beautiful, the way that they're made and designed. So it's one thing that I would highly recommend is probably to spend a day at a resort. And sometimes they have movie night, or they'll have like a campground night where they have s'mores. So that's different things to really look into. Now, the one thing I should mention is that your food is not included at your resort. So you would need to pay at the food court prices And those prices can vary depending on what you want, but each different resort has different themes of restaurants, I would say. So not Louisiana, but the Riverside Resort, they have like gravy and biscuits the last time I checked, and other things, whereas other resorts don't have that. So that's one unique feature, and it's just like a huge resort. It's unbelievable. If you go to the Caribbean Resort, it will feel like you're in the Caribbean, and they have little beaches and little hammocks. So it's a very, very nice experience. It's a very well experience. And you have a TV in your room that gives you all the latest updates. It gives you when the parks open, when they close, and it's full of Disney and sports channels. So you definitely, if you love Disney, you'll enjoy it. Some resorts are themed more than others. Some resorts have pirate themes. Some of them have insane themes. Like there's at the Riverside, there's a royal room, and you go in, and there's a table, and there's a letter from Tiana, and you see the magic carpet, and you get to see some different aspects of the room. You know, there's like a small LED part of the fireworks on the headboard. It displays the fireworks on the headboard. So there's some neat options as far as the rooms and kind of how they are decorated. As I said, there's the magic carpet. There's Aladdin's lamp as the spigot, and it's got I think it's got like Ariel's thingamabobs and stuff on the shower curtain. So there's different things. They also have a resort that's just like Africa. And there's a safari that's in front of your door, and sometimes you can see giraffes and other things. So that's something to think about. And I would say one advantage to staying at the resorts is that you can buy this mug. And the mug basically gives you unlimited refills when the restaurant's open to get like any sort of Coke products. They have tea, they have coffee, they have hot chocolate. They have these different options. And of course, it's only when they're open, and you don't get any features sort of going in the park and refilling or anything like that. So it's only good at the resort. So there's some good options out there if you would like to contact us to try to figure out some different places. And they kind of come in different levels. There's one where you can bring your own camper, and that one's the cheapest option. And then they have value resorts, which basically, I believe they're called value resorts. But basically, they just, they're at a lower cost. So these are more kid-friendly, which would kind of be like, if you have kids probably under the age of 8 or something like that, that would be the best thing I would say as far as to let them come and see what's there. So there's ones where it kind of like it's in a big sports arena, and some of them you're kind of in the movies. So there's some different places out there, There's like an art animation one, which is a level or two up, I believe. But basically, it actually I have them here. I did have to reference it because there's so many. So these are value resorts. So they have the All Stars movies, music and sports, art of animation. I guess that is part of that. The Pop Century, and the Fort Wilderness Cabins and Campgrounds. So Fort Wilderness Cabins and Campgrounds, where you can bring your own camper or RV. But the other three, like Pop Century, is kind of like sports. Art of Animation focuses kind of on the animation. And the All-Star movies, music, and sports is where you see like the huge Dalmatians and stuff when you're watching the previews. So that's one of them. And then you have your moderate resorts. So that is the Caribbean Beach Resort, like I talked about earlier. So it's mainly focused like on the Caribbean and all the color schemes. They do a real good job on that. Coronado Springs, which is kind of like a Mexico resort. And then you have French Quarter and Riverside. And those are kind of like Louisiana themed, I would say, the Bayou. And then the Deluxe Villa Resorts, which is kind of like DVC, the Disney Vacation Club, which is very expensive, is Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa in Old Key West. And then the Deluxe Resorts, there's the Yacht and Beach Club, the Wilderness Lodge, and there's also the Swan and Dolphin, which if you ever seen the pictures, that's those huge looking dolphins. The Polynesian Village, which is kind of centered around that Polynesian theme, and they have good restaurants. The Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, that's the one you see on all the commercials, which I don't really like to compare it to, but it's kind of like the, if you ever played the Nintendo 64 and Super Mario, kind of like the castle, how it has that look to it, that is what that looks like. And then there's a Disney's Riviera Resort, a contemporary resort, which is kind of like that triangle building that the monorail runs through, the Boardwalk Inn, and the Animal Kingdom Lodge. And the Animal Kingdom Lodge is the one with the safari animals. So there's some different options to choose from, and certainly I can price any of these. I can tell you the more you go up on the pole, basically, for these resorts, the higher the cost per night is going to be. The lower you go, the more affordable it's going to be. So the value resorts, sometimes I would say $120 to $150 or something like that per night. And then as you go up, like the moderate, sometimes that can be $200-$300 a night, and then it goes up. Very, very expensive. So I have only stayed at Coronado Springs, which I really loved. French Quarter and Riverside, I stayed at Riverside. And then I stayed at the Caribbean Beach. So all of the moderate resorts. And I would say if you are a typical family and you do like just a simple room to enjoy it and to enjoy the theme and to enjoy your stay and your Disney vacation, I would suggest a moderate resort over a value resort. But definitely it does get fancier the more up you go. And of course, some of them offer more features than others. But if you would like staying at those resorts, it is wonderful. I would never stay off the resort anymore after I've had that experience with Disney and how nice they are and how they really try to make things right. And one trip we did have some problems with, which was out of their control. And the manager was nice enough to give us fast passes. Multiple fast passes, because it was just multiple things that was wrong, and I had never experienced that with Disney before. So it's not something that you may get to experience, but it may be something you don't get to experience, just like every hotel you go to. But they do try to make the situation right, and that really was one thing where they really helped as much as they could. And I really appreciated what he did. He didn't have to do it. But definitely that's one thing that I do like about Disney is they will correct the situation, make it better. So your vacations aren't really, it feels ruined. But after that and you're ready to leave, you can do your airline check-in outside the hotel, and they basically can take your bags, so you don't even have to fool with the front counter. And the Magical Express will take you back to your airport, which is the Orlando International Airport, and then you get to go home if you're flying. So it's a wonderful experience. And again, if you need a quote or you would like to talk more about it, just let me know. You can email us at contact@butlertravelagency.com, or you can call our number. We have a phone number. We have contact forms out there. We have our website. We have social media. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Butler Travel Agency. And then you can message us there, and we'll even respond there. So again, thank you for listening, and tune back in for more Disney tips. And we can sell Disney now, so that's one thing to look at. As far as we can definitely take your quotes and get back to you. So next we will discuss probably more on the parks and fast passes and things kind of that would seem important. So thanks again for listening, and we hope to see you next time.